10 p.m. on the East Coast. I know that it's 7 p.m. on the West Coast. I know it's something p.m. on your coast. But right now, it's Factz Ova Feelingz time on the Instagram, social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook coast, the TikTok coast, and every other coast and platform that I have been on. I'm on again tonight. I want to let you all know that I'm a little late tonight because I got to deal with some very, very serious business that's going on in the world. I'm going to have to spend a few minutes and talk about it. And when I do talk about it, I want to make sure that I have the attention of all of my brothers and my sisters. I bid you a shalom. I bid you a greeting. I bid you assalamu alaikum. I bid you peace, love, and light, and welcome to the fourth installment of the course that we are basing on the book of the Nephilim, the Pyramid, and the Apocalypse by Patrick Heron. If you have this book, which is out of print right now, and if you have the e-book, which is something even harder to get, try to follow along tonight. If you've been following along, we have been skimming through this book and showing you the applicability to some of the things we talk about every day. In spite of all the craziness that's going on in the world, we try to make sense out of it because we are the children of who? the Most High. I'm so glad that y'all could come back with me tonight, because tonight we got to deal with a couple of things as we continue in the series. I'm so glad that you joined me. I hope you got pen and paper to take note. I won't be slowing down. As a matter of fact, we're going to be picking up the pace. If you came here just to spectate, you in the wrong place. But if you want the questions answered that you've always been asking your whole life and everybody told you you're not supposed to ask, instead of saying we don't know the answer because they've hidden it from us, this is the unveiling. This is where we get down to the nitty gritty of the situation and find out exactly what's going on. If you're on your job, turn it up. If you're at home, put your earbuds in and get comfortable. I'm going to be with you for a little while tonight just to get this next session out. Remember, an 8-part series. All of this will be available on YouTube when I'm done with it. I am the official Grandmaster Jay, founder and supreme commander of the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition. Don't believe what you heard. Ain't nobody tried us yet. They talk a lot, but ain't nobody tried us yet. They threaten a lot, but ain't nobody tried us yet. They say we don't train, but ain't nobody tried us yet. You see, ain't nobody tried us yet. So how in the hell do you think you know what you're talking about? Which brings me to the first stop before we get off on the launch pad and blast off. Big shout out to all of the members of the NFAC. First, let me talk, if I can, to my brothers and sisters. When I say my brothers and sisters, I want y'all to stay with me, because I'm talking to my brothers and sisters from the tribe of Reuben. I'm talking to y'all just for a few minutes, and then I want y'all to slide over, make room for my brothers and sisters from the tribe of Simeon. They over here. I want Simeon. I want y'all on deck. I want you focused. I need all of my brothers and sisters from the tribe of Judah. I need y'all to pull on up. You can feel it in your bones. You can feel it in your ancestral spirit. Come on over here, because I need you on deck. If you come from the tribe of Dan, I need you over here too. When I get to your tribe, get on up, come on down, like they say on The Price is Right. If you are from the tribe of Naphtali, however you want to pronounce it, I'm going to say it the way you're supposed to say it, Naphtali. You better come on down too. That's your tribe. The tribe of Gad, come on down. Asher, come on down. Issachar, come on down. Zebulun, come on down. Don't sit there and look like you don't know what this is. You know you got to be in there somewhere. Zebulun, come on down. Joseph, the tribe of Joseph, come on down. The tribe of Benjamin, come on down. And then most importantly, I have to say it, the tribe of Levi, join me right here as we proceed to get it in real quick. I got to talk to y'all first, because what I'm going to say to you, it's something that nobody wants to get around and address. Let me address this. Last night, if you wasn't with us, we shattered several theologies. Some people went back to the temple and said, I want my money back. Some people went back to the seminary and said, I want my money back. I'm paying on the loan. I ain't paying no more student loans because you taught me a bunch of BS. Some of y'all ready to go to church on Sunday, which is not the day that you're supposed to be going. You're supposed to be on the Sabbath, but you know, Constantine changed that to Sunday. So you're going to go to church on the first day of the week and slap the hell out of somebody for lying to you and taking your money at the same time and abusing your kids. That's what you ready to do, because that's what happens when you be like, man, I can't believe after all these years they lied to me. They lied to me. They lied to you. Yes, they did. But that's all right, because everything that's done in the dark eventually comes to the light. And I find out that the more I tell y'all the truth, the more they hate me. Somebody wrote down, I got to pass this on. Somebody said, they said, do you realize that you're probably going to go down in history as the most loved and hated and talked about individual in 2020, one way or the other, from the bros down on the block all the way to the moonshine rednecks up in the mountains? They all got your name in their mouth, because not of who you are, but what you represent. The outspoken masculine black man that knows his history and understands what you've done to us has now pulled up and got a space and said, you know what? We can't have that no more. We got to straighten a couple things out. There's too many pink elephants in the room. We can't breathe up in this joint. Every time I turn around, I got my face in an elephant's booty. I'm tired of that. It's time to clear the air. So don't ask me Why is he so angry? Why is he so passionate? Why is he so determined? Where's all this energy coming from? 400 years wound up and then packaged up inside of every ancestor who had sent a proverbial fist into your realm in 2020, struck down and landed and is now operating. And while the rest of y'all sitting back trying to figure out what the hell is going on, the rest of the other people is going, ooh wee, y'all better turn to somebody right next to you and say, I am ready for this tonight. We about to blast off in here. Got some stuff I need to talk to my people about first. If you come from one of those tribes, only if you come from one of those tribes. If you didn't come from one of those tribes, then you just up in here for nothing. This don't apply to you right now. But don't worry, I'm going to teach a class on those of y'all who are not from the 12 tribes. And that's going to really cook your noodle because everybody swear up and down just because they got melanin skin. They think just because they can trace themselves back to one of the dark groups that they automatically come from the 12 tribes. But the 12 tribes was a set apart people. They were a special people. They were a chosen people. It's not the fact that they were chosen. That don't mean nothing. It's the fact of who did the choosing. When you think about who chose you, it becomes a whole different story, don't it? It's kind of, okay, so they tell us you got to choose between the lesser of two evils. They wasn't lying, was they? Y'all chose between two evils and you got exactly what you asked for. It wasn't whether you chose between the lesser or the greater. It's the fact that they both was evil in the end. So why are you sitting here with your face all twisted up because the man that's up there acting like you don't exist, don't give a damn about women, act like racism don't exist, encouraging people to do things to you, shooting people at the border, bombing people overseas, letting them rape Africa, and then treat you like you a secondhand citizen. Why are you acting like you surprised? You put them in there. Don't play victim to circumstances you created. Only thing we got to do now is find out which way is up and get on up out of here. Now that I got the tribe on deck, I need you all to understand that there's a lot of confusion about who the tribe is. So before I get into the lesson for tonight, dealing with the Nephilim, I first have to do a little bit of talking to my folks who kind of got it twisted about exactly why we shouldn't be fighting around here, why we are all family. Yeah, we all family. That's the part that blows my mind. When I see certain groups arguing amongst themselves, I'm like, especially if you knew where the tribes was. You know, they tell you the tribes were scattered and we don't know where they went. They took them and they got rid of them. No. The people who scattered them know exactly where they are. Why do you think you don't know your culture? Why do you think they won't tell you where you really came from? Why do you think they gave you a new name? Why do you think they gave you a new religion? Why do you think they gave you a new God? Why do you think they did it? Because if you knew the truth about who you really was, if you knew let me tell you something. If I was working at a company, and let's say I was, working in the mail room. You know, I'm working in the mail room. I do my job. I don't ask no questions. I don't push nobody around. I stay to myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get my paycheck, get my scratch. You know, that's what I ain't making no waves. I'm glad to have a job. I appreciate it. Yeah, I put up with some bullshit every now and then, but that's just the way it is. Y'all understand? It's my job. I'm on the plantation. You understand what I'm saying to you? Then all of a sudden, somebody come down one day and say, Mr. Johnson, we need to have a word with you. And I'm like, was it something that I did? They said, no, it ain't nothing that you did. Come on, go with us. And they take you out and they say, take your bags with you. You think I'm about to get fired. And they take you, everybody uncomfortable, a whole lot of throat clearing going on. You get upstairs and all these white people sitting around looking real strange. And you walking in like, what in the hell is the problem? And they take you back in this little office. And back there, it's the boss of the boss of the boss. Now, you know, not only are you about to get fired, your ass going to jail. Whatever it is, you got to come up with a story real quick. Like, don't know what I'm about to walk into, but there's a door right there and a window right there. I am not going in a cage, but you got to go in and check it out because you don't know. And you walk in, heart pumping, eye on the door. Here come the comedy. Eye on the window. I'm talking about real bros. I ain't talking about none of y'all little sissy bros standing there. Well, I'm sorry, you know, we ain't doing all of that. They're going to be like, yeah, he jumped out the window. The nigga, he cutting across the lawn right now. There you go. You got to catch me, bro. I don't care what it is. Got to catch me. So, all right, here we go. I got to tell y'all the story. Y'all think I'm joking. Before I go on, I got to tell y'all the story. This is for those people, and I love to do stuff like this because they set themselves up and it fits right into our story for tonight. But this is for all you people out there who swear up and down that I don't have any combat military experience, and they done made up some bullshit about I was the supply and all that bullshit. They ain't read my 214 or did nothing. I love people like that. But I'll set the scene for you. We were out in the battle box, if you know what the battle box is. If you've ever been to Death Valley in the National Training Center, the cavalry goes out and we do these exercises for like 90 days. We out there in a rotation. They play real war games with real live ammunition, real tanks, all kind of shit going on. You make one wrong step, you get your ass blowed away, your family get a flag. They call it a training accident. I was in the 3rd Cavalry Armory Regiment, Tiger Squadron. Tiger Squadron consists of tanks, ground scouts, personnel vehicles, people on the ground running around with all kind of shit. Just a bunch of, and it's all men acting completely a fool out there in the desert. So we go out to NTC to do this exercise. Now, at the time, I told y'all that y'all heard the end of the story, but you never heard the lead up to the story. Remember the time I told y'all about we was out in there and they called us up on the hill and they made us stay up on the hill because we complained about the leadership, and they remember that story? This is how it started. So we go out there, we in the desert, and I was the kind of person that I'm sorry, I didn't mind following you, but you had to be a good leader. You had to do more than just tell me what to do. You had to do it yourself and lead by example. That's for all you people who wonder why I go at the front of the NFAC. I'm not going to send anybody into any kind of danger that I'm not willing to face myself first, because I'm pissed off, not them. They pissed off along with me. Remember Ahmaud Arbery? I got pissed off. I didn't go get a bunch of people. Yo, y'all pissed off. Y'all want to go do something? No, I got pissed off and went down there and handled it with some folks, and then everybody else joined up. So I'm going to stay pissed off going after situations. In this particular instance, I was pissed off because the leaders were garbage. And I said something out of my mouth that I shouldn't, but it actually exposed a problem. Because anybody can expose a problem if you see it. So if you're working in a place or you dealing with a bunch of people and you see something wrong, just because you ain't running stuff don't mean you can't point out, yo, man, this shit right here about to blow up. So what I did was I complained, and y'all remember the story. They pulled all the workers out and made the leaders do the work, and they couldn't. So they had to get rid of the leaders and bring the workers back, and we did their job. Okay. Y'all remember how that story ended? We was all in here shouting and we was all praising everything and everybody was having a good time. Y'all remember that? And we all signed off and said, ooh, Jay taught that. And yeah, but here's what you didn't know. The next day, we were all sitting under the shade, under the camo. We sitting down on our cots, you know, and we cooling out. And I worked in what you call the TOC, which was the Tactical Operations Center. We were the brain of the cavalry. So while the fighters were out fighting, the colonels and all of the plotters and the intel and the artillery combat, I'm giving some stuff away that don't make no difference. They probably do it different now. In communications, we all moved together in a group, a bunch of Bradleys and a bunch of AV-577, which are like track vehicles. Y'all saw somebody stole one in Richmond and drove it down Broad Street about a year ago. Dude flipped out. But the bottom line was we were a bunch of vehicles and we would go places and we were set up and we were the brain. We would transmit all. I was the net operator. I was the voice on the network. So when you got on the radio, I said at the highest level of the network, I could come down on internet, break in, do all kinds of shit. So I'm sitting there chilling and I was actually relaxing. I had a moment to sit back and relax. And we out in the desert, y'all. Don't nobody come out there. Nobody. You ain't gonna see a soul for a minute. It's just you and your boys. And here comes some choppers, some Apaches. You don't see nothing like that out there where we at. What's going on? The chopper came down, the dust was up. We looking, who this? And we saw it was the big dog. It was the regimental colonel that commanded the whole 3rd ACR. Big dog, Colonel Robert Young. Y'all look it up. He got off the chopper. You know, he got all his stuff on, got all his A's with him. We like, oh, somebody's ass is in trouble. Because that's the only thing they did in the cavalry was, especially if you was black, you caught a lot of shit. So we thinking somebody's ass is in trouble. Who gonna get it? And they came over and they had, we had an outstanding command sergeant major that ran the whole operation for the regiment. He was a brother. That's why I respected him. He was a brother and you couldn't talk to him no any kind of way. He didn't give a damn what your rank was. He took care of his men and you wasn't going to treat us no any kind of way. Bruh had been in like 30 some years. I loved him to death. He went over there and he talking to him. I'm like, I know somebody's ass in trouble now because if he talking, he don't look like he over there trying to defend nothing. They over there, they conspiring. So there was this lieutenant that I couldn't stand. He reminded me of the brother that y'all saw me arguing with in the preview of the show coming up. He was a straight conservative if I ever met one. He came over there and he said, Johnson. When he said my name like that, I looked at my boy Fred and he looked at me and I'm looking like I don't like the way he said that. Understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm right here, sir. And he goes, what are you doing right now? And I said, sir, I'm sitting down, relaxing, sir. I'm not doing nothing. And he said, lace up your boots and report to the Sergeant Major. Now, I knew that had nothing good written all over it. Anybody who has ever served know you get that feeling right here because you don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it was not good. It was too much rank out there on the sand to be calling my name after the stunt that I pulled the other day. See, they were slick like that in the Army. They'll smile with you and tell you that you're a hero, but when they get your ass to the back, oh, it was a rap, Reynolds rap all day. If you ever served, you know I'm telling you the truth. So I looked at my boy and he looked at me and he said, what did you do? I said, I don't know, bruh. And I did just what I'm talking about. I looked to my left and there was a sand dune that led off to the canyons. And I looked to my right and there was more sand dunes that led off to the horizon. And I said, well, shit, if I take off running, I wonder how fast I got to go before they get me. You get what I'm saying? And they just gonna have to chase my ass down, drag me back in the sand. I'm going out like a straight idiot. Because I ain't want to face whatever it was. It was too much rank. You see, they can throw you in Leavenworth. You don't want to go to Leavenworth. Nobody want to go to Leavenworth. So I got up, laced up my boots, tried to be hard about it. Y'all know how we do. Kept an eye on the escape route on both sides. I slid over to the sand. Got over there to this lieutenant. I couldn't stand this man. Came over to him. He gave me the ugly eye. I went up there. They had all the brass was standing up there. Sergeant Major was looking at, he wore shades too. He was looking at me out through over his shades. Walked up. I was real cool with it. I said, Sergeant Major, Specialist Johnson reporting as order. Sergeant Major, we had to say it both ways. And he said, don't report to me. Report to the colonel. Threw me at the colonel. Just sacrifice me. Threw me under the bus. Headlights, exhaust. Y'all been there. So I turned to the colonel. Sir, Specialist Johnson reporting as ordered, sir. Put his hands down and said these words, publish the order. When he said publish the order, what order? What is this order? Bruh whipped out a piece of paper. Attention to orders. Secretary of the Army has reposed special confidence and trust in one John Fitzgerald Johnson. In light of these special qualities, is hereby promoted, field promoted from specialist to sergeant. Excuse me? All of a sudden it got bright in the room that the angels were singing. Because I thought I was going to my doom. And I wasn't. I was actually stepping into something that was greater because somebody saw something greater in me by what I had done the other day, which was point out those people who was misleading us in a way that we weren't going to be productive. Don't y'all see what I'm saying? Some of y'all in the same situation right now. We are sitting in a situation where they done taught you a religion to control you, a system to make you think that you haven't done anything great, that made you forget who you are. Because if you go back and you look at it, you are the members of the 12 tribes of Israel. They don't want you to know that. So now every time they talk to you, they want you to think it's doom and gloom. They make you scared to come down to the altar. They make you scared to want to face the Creator. They make you scared to want to face your truth. Y'all ain't trying to hear what I'm telling y'all tonight. And all of this spins all the way back to the founding month that you all like to say, well, I'm just Shem and him and all of that. No. Go back some more. You got to go all the way back to the ancient. And then you'll figure out where you are today. You see, if you're from the tribe of Judah, you are the American blacks. If you're from the tribe of Benjamin, you're the West Indian blacks. If you're from the tribe of Levi, you are the Haitians. If you're from the tribe of Ephraim, you're the Puerto Ricans. If you're from the tribe of Manasseh, you are the Cubans. If you're from the tribe of Simeon, you are the Dominicans. If you're from the tribe of Zebulon, you are Guatemala to Panamania to the Mayans. If you're from Gad, You know that tribe Gad? Then you are the Native Americans. If you're from the tribe of Reuben, you are the Seminole Native Americans. If you're from the tribe of Asher, you are from Colombia to Uruguay. You are the Incas. You're from the tribe of Issachar. You are the Mexicans, the Aztecs. And if you're from the tribe of Naphtali, you are the descendants, Argentina and Chile. That's what they did with the 12 tribes. And they would never wanted you to find that out. So all of y'all that's sitting around fighting each other and hating each other and saying he black, but he ain't black. I'm black and you black. No, you're all black. You're just 12 different types of blacks that have had your mind erased so you don't know who you are. And as long as they can keep y'all fighting amongst yourselves, you will never unify and walk in the true power that you have. Not one tribe, all 12 tribes. If all 12 tribes walk together, matter of fact, it's written, if I can just get 12,000 from each one of y'all to walk together and get the 144,000, which is the same frequency of melanin, you could send up an ancestral noise that's like a weapon. They know that. They don't want you to know that. Matter of fact, I guarantee you before this is all over, if you're not recording this one, it won't be around when I go to do the countdown. They gonna make sure he done went out there and told them who the hell they was. I don't care. I'm gonna say it again. The American blacks, the West Indian blacks, the Haitians, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Dominicans, from Guatemala to Panama, the Mayans, the American indigenous, the Seminole indigenous, Colombia, the Uruguay, the Incas, the Mexicans, the Aztecs, and Argentina and Chile. You are the descendants of the 12 tribes. Now, the question you have to ask yourself, well, Grandmaster, what about the people on the other side? Haven't you wondered why we on this side? Obviously, there was something going on the other side that the descendants of the 12 sons, they had to get away from that. Now we get back to what we proved last night. Last night, we proved to you that for those of y'all who say, well, I don't believe in the existence of God, you got to show me proof. Look no further than the pyramids and the book of Isaiah. That's your proof. But you got to remember something. If the Nephilim built the pyramids as a representation of Isaiah 19, if they did it and black people didn't do it, then where were the black people? Well, the black people at that time would have been us, the descendants of the 12 tribes. Of course, we wouldn't have been there. After the flood, the Nephilim arose again. And all these places that you hear about, all these different civilizations that they have to dig up and find, it's because we weren't the ones inhabiting those areas. The Nephilim were. So where were we? On the other side. The scattering of the tribes is mental. The scattering of the tribes is all psychological. Haven't y'all figured that out yet? While they digging up your ancestors and stealing all your treasures and still trying to figure out all your secrets, you sitting around staring at the wall, stupid to dumb, because they played one of those Men in Black. I need everybody to look at this light. Bloop, don't remember nothing. And then they feel, listen, when you wipe out a people's culture, you got to give them something. What have they given you? They have given you this myth that you are inferior. What have they given you? They have given you this myth that you are slaves and you've always been slaves. They have given you this myth that because of the beautiful melanin of your skin, which in fact keeps me looking younger than most people who are my age, you wouldn't even put me in a room with these people. It is the power of melanin that keeps me looking like this. There's people, what is your secret? Can you tell us what my secret is? Melanin. My secret is the blood that flows through my vein and the selenium that's at the core of my DNA that makes me move a lot better, age a lot better, think a lot better, smell a lot better, taste a lot better, hear more sound, see more colors, think on a higher level than you. It's the melanin, baby. 144,000 megahertz all day long. And the problem with that is they don't want you to know that. And I'm going to keep hitting y'all in the head until somebody gets it. Somebody say, talk to me, black man. I am, and I came to do so. Now, before I go any further, I got to pause. And we got to deal with something real quick. I want y'all to hold that thought because we're going to get into why we were on the other side. And we're going to get into what the purpose of the pyramids was. Most people go, oh yeah, well, we don't know what yeah, see, that's the problem. The people who can't figure it out can't figure it out because no matter how far back they dig in their past, it ain't there. White people can only, they be like, well, shit, we didn't do it. Exactly. And by the time y'all found your way into Africa, it was already thousands of years old. Y'all don't believe that bullshit about, well, you know, civilization started 6,000 years ago. No, you started 6,000 years ago. We have proof of civilizations that go back 200,000 years. And you know who wasn't there? Your mayonnaise ass. So don't get mad at us just because we have a deeper history than even you can fathom and we can't halfway remember because you did such a good job at erasing our goddamn memories. Now, I got to stop for a second, and we're going to have to deal with something on a serious tip. Y'all know that even though I'm teaching the course, I need y'all to pause real quick on this. I need to talk to the members of the NFAC, and I'm also speaking to all coalition members of other groups. If you New Black Panther Party of Self-Defense, if you are a member of the Huey Newton Gun Club, if you are a member of the Fred Hampton Gun Club, if you are one of the Dark Riders, if you're a member of the Justice League, the French Pan-African Resistance, if you're a member of any of these coalitions, I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. What we have been doing here in America, a lot of people have a lot to say about. We have gone 5 times and assembled ourselves in an organized fashion, legally and heavily armed, in the face of law enforcement, National Guard, and everybody else. And no one has so much as fired a shot at us. Yes, someone has talked about it, but no one has done it. A congressman even threatened to do it, but he didn't do it either. Somebody set off a couple of concussion grenades in Lafayette to try to panic people. We wasn't even there yet. So that don't count. No one has ever fired upon us. Yet we still maintain the presence that we do. And people tend to think that we're terrorists, and we're not. But I want everyone to understand that things are a lot worse in other parts of the world than they are here. And the crazy part about this is the very thing that I hope and pray we never run into. There are people who are running into these things and they're not armed. In Nigeria, you've heard me talk about this before. There's a group in the police department that was created called the SARS. And I don't know who trained these people. I don't know what their overall mission is. I don't know what their association is with the military. I'm still investigating. But apparently they've gotten carried away like people do because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And now they've turned into a terrorist gang themselves. They've been preying on the people of Nigeria. And if you don't know, Nigeria is one of the most prosperous economies in Africa. Yes, America has their hands deeply in Nigerian politics. I'm not surprised. Anywhere there's a lot of money, there are the Americans snooping around, and the Chinese ain't far behind. If you don't believe me, do the research yourself. And so the police have been acting out this program against the population, and the population's tired of it. So they're in the streets, just like you've been in the streets over here for people like George Floyd and so forth. And they are modding up all over the country. I mean, things like you've never seen before. Yet people are on fire. And this is why I have always told you all that the time for sign waving and rainbows is over. You have to stop walking up on people with guns, with nothing in your hand. You keep walking up on these people who they equipped with riot gear, and now they got semi-automatic weapons. And right now they firing rubber bullets. What happens when they start firing real bullets? Well, guess what? Your brothers and sisters overseas, they emulated that same silly ass model and walked up on SARS and walked up on the Nigerian army. And now we got videos leaking out of these people getting their brains blowed out. Literally. Standing there chanting and shit. You're killing people, y'all. And nobody has any firepower. Now you see why they look at you the way they do? Because if they could have what we have, And y'all wonder why these white people so afraid of y'all going off. Now, if I couldn't watch no more of these videos, these people just as fired up as you are. And they looking to their brothers and sisters here in the United States like y'all just gonna ignore this shit. Well, I can't ignore it. And I won't. I told you all that the NFAC is a global organization. I want you to stay tuned if you can for the next few days. I do have some members of the NFAC that arrived in Nigeria yesterday. They are sending me intelligence. I want to thank all the people on the ground that are videotaping and just live streaming what they're seeing. This is 10 times worse than anything that has happened here in the United States. What they're doing to those people in Nigeria is exactly why I formed InFact here in the United States. Because what they're threatening to do here in the United States, they're already doing in Africa. And they don't care about your crowds. They don't care about your signs. I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't even tell you what they hit this boy with. It wasn't anything like what we're carrying. I've never seen something do a human being like that. I want to make y'all aware of this. Get your head out the sand. My love for my people is not just for those in the United States. It is for melanated people everywhere. And I'm very disturbed. I am. To the people in Nigeria, please be aware that I am aware. DJ Switch on the ground in Nigeria, I got your messages. I am aware. To my friends on the other side of the ocean, I am aware and I am available. I want to make y'all aware of that before I move on. Because just because nothing hasn't happened over here doesn't mean that you won't find yourself wrapped up in something over there. You figure it out. Okay, now that I have put everybody in a somber mood, let's go ahead and move back to the teaching at hand as we jump right back into the Nephilim and the pyramid of the apocalypse. Now that we understand who you are and where you are, we have to understand, well, who was on the other side? And why was they on the other side? And who put them on the other side? As a matter of fact, how do we go from this big gap of the first world, everything got jacked up, the Nephilim, the flood, everything was supposed to be all right, but the Nephilim came back. Okay. And then we get all of them wiped out. But there is a civilization that nobody talks about that fills the gap from that time all the way up to the Egyptian dynasties. And then from the Egyptian dynasties all the way up to now. So we got some gaps to fill in because they just conveniently leave this out whenever they are teaching you this in college, or so what I call indoctrination centers. So tonight we got to fill some of that in, and I hope I can help some people who have some misconceptions, just like the person that ran up on me the other day talking about, what did they ask me? They said, I can't believe that you was talking about the Ankh and the cross. And it I'm like, you really need to go back and watch the special that I did about that, where you'll find out that the cross is nothing but a bastardized version of the Ankh. And if the Ankh even comes from something even more ancient than that, the Ankh of life. And if you go back even further than that, you will find out where one led to the other. They're all connected, but y'all done broke the story apart, put some gaps in it, and trying to sell them like two separate CDs. That's not the case. You don't know the lineage of your history. You don't know the lineage. You don't know the chronological lineage of your history and how everything ties together. Because don't nobody seem to care about that no more. Yet you the first one to stand there and argue when someone asks you a deep question like that. So let us start at the beginning, black people. The very first civilization or recorded civilization would be the civilization of Sumer. Yes, you've heard of Sumer, Sumerians. You've heard of Samaria before. But what most people do is they always try to act like the Sumerians was some deep, dark mystery and nobody knew. Really? Really? For real? Let me help y'all out. So the Sumerians, first of all, they were located in a place that you do know well. Or you know it real well. Before I tell you where it is, let me tell you what these people did. That's the part that you got to understand. This one group of people is responsible for inventing writing. Y'all like to write. Well, they're the ones that invented that. The wheel. Yeah. The same people who invented writing invented the wheel. You know, the wheels on your car that go round and round. They invented the wheel. You know who invented mathematics? This same group of people. They invented mathematics. Matter of fact, they had two systems. They had one system that had a number base of 60, just like we use a number base of 10. They divided time up to 60s, including 60 seconds, 60 minutes in an hour, 60. They were the ones who did a circle 360 degrees. They had a wide knowledge of mathematics, subtraction, multiplication, division, quadratic, cubic equations, fractions. They did all that. One group of people. This same group of people is the same people who invented astronomy. They were the ones that learned how to track the movement of the planets and the stars. And one thing y'all have to understand, in order for someone to tell you that they have a calendar that goes 500,000 years into the future, that meant that they had to live another 500,000 years just to see it go around one time so they can tell you how the calendar, I mean, that's 1,000,000 years already. The heights of today invented medicine. That's right. When you go to the doctor, the Sumerians put all that. They invented technology. Don't y'all understand that these people who came out of nowhere had a fully evolved civilization, and everything that they brought with them, we're all doing to this day. That's who the Sumerians were. They had their own language. They had their own creation story. Matter of fact, they didn't have the Bible and in the beginning, Adam and Eve and they didn't do all of that. No. They had what was called the Enuma Elish. The Enuma Elish was a Babylonian epic of creation. It talked about how the universe got created, how the gods got created, how man got created. It gives you the whole story. Now, it's crazy though when you read it because, of course, a couple of people have put their hands on it and try to tone down the hard parts that you can't digest. I'm trying to teach y'all something. Y'all can sit there and look at me stupid if you want to, but this is the kind of stuff that goes right over your head that your enemies know about and that they're using to make to run circles right around you while y'all on the floor scrambling for crumbs. And they stole all this information from you. Somebody died and left $1 million in the family. They left a will, but they put it in a code. Whoever can figure the code out, get the money. They got you over here trying to play with blocks and do Scrabble while they over there trying to figure out the will. Y'all ain't figured that out yet. But the summary of their story is it's the oldest one in the world. It concerns the birth of the gods and the creation of the universe and human beings. In the beginning, there was only undifferentiated water. That's what they say. They said that the universe was water, not wide open space. It was all water. Matter of fact, if you believe in the firmament, it said the waters above and the waters below. It's all water. When you're staring at the sky at night, you're not looking into deep space. You're looking into black ass water. And there is a layer between you and the water. That's where the stars are sitting inside of the firmament. That's why they try to send up all those missiles back in the 50s trying to break through the goddamn firmament. Y'all look up Operation Dominic. Don't listen to me. Go in and look at the video. The films are still there. Shit is hiding in plain sight right in front of you. That wherever it is, they try to break through it. Why you think when you see the rocket take off on TV, it always go up and then it do this number right here? Why don't it just keep going straight up? Why we always got to curve and go somewhere? We ain't got to curve and go nowhere if what you saying is true. And like I taught y'all last night, the pyramid sits at the very center of the whole operation, which means that if we living on a ball, it's sitting on the very center. If we living on a plate, it's sitting on the center. It is the center of the whole situation. So if you don't believe it, then go back and read the ancient epic itself and you'll say it says out of this water, the water is divided into sweet, fresh water and became the god Aspu. You've never heard of Aspu. And the salty bitter water became the goddess Tiamat. You've heard of Tiamat. And once differentiated, those two gave birth to two younger gods. And those two younger gods, they were trouble kids, just like a lot of y'all kids. One of them got mad and killed the mate. So they had to have, all this is God business going on. There were gods according to what they said. This is what the Sumers said. This was the first civilization. But what y'all don't realize is, where did they come from? The real question is not where did they come from. Let me help you out. It's who did they come after? Think about it. Who did they come after? If you go back and take the first part of the story in the book of Enoch, and then you come through the flood, and now you come into the Pentateuch, and you got the 5 books of Moses, and you got all that going on. Okay. Who did they come after? Because no matter what culture you go to, it's the same story, just told different ways. Matter of fact, y'all remember when y'all was in school and they used to play Pass It Down? Remember Pass It Down? They would tell one person something, and you're supposed to whisper it into the next person's ear, and by the time it come all the way back around, it was all messed up. Remember that? That's Pass It Down. What makes you think that hasn't happened with history that's been passed down, stories that have been passed down, and then inject an evil element that is willing to change the story on purpose? You don't even see where you living at. But anyway, when you get into that whole story, if I can entertain y'all for a second, there was another god named Quengu who advised her to make war on the younger god. So Tiamat rewarded Quengu with what we call the tablets of destiny. Sound like something out of a movie, don't it? That legitimizes the rule of God and to control the fates, and he wears them proudly as a breastplate. So he had control of everything. He carried it around with him. Okay, now Quengu was supposed to be the champion of Tiamat. Okay, so they could summon the forces of chaos, and they could create these 11 horrible monsters, and all this stuff got crazy, and her children got ate up. See, this is all in, they wrote this. I'm just telling you, if you go and you decipher the language, this is what it's going to say. And then all of a sudden, 2 characters that you should be aware of come into play, because a lot of y'all use their names and don't even know it. One of those was E, and the other one was Enki. Then the younger of these gods used to fight against Tiamat until from amongst them emerged the champion. That was Marduk. And then Marduk, he swear he's going to defeat Tiamat. Now, when I finish telling y'all this story, I'm going to blow your mind, because what ends up happening is Marduk defeats Quengu and kills Tiamat by shooting her with an arrow, which split her in 2. From her eyes flow the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates River. Don't y'all know I'm not talking about gods? I'm talking about planets. Whoever wrote this story is telling you that there was a celestial event, and that one planet was split into 2, and that was a water planet. And that planet collided with another planet that formed Earth. Why do you think 1/2 of this planet is all water that you can't drink, that has life forms in it? Don't you know the oceans are less explored than space? They don't know what's in the waters. Remember, 80% of this planet is water. Think about it. Water over mountains, lands you've never seen, all kind of life forces, stuff that's so big you wouldn't even see it if it came round. Well, that's the story they're telling here. They also want you to believe that the remains of one of those planets has become the asteroid belt. That's why there's no planet there. It makes sense to a common sense person. But if someone wants you to believe their myth, they try to tell you that don't think like that. Don't think like that. Don't let your common sense tell you that. Don't let the spirit don't let what the creator gave you, the good sense that he gave you, make sense. Don't do that. I know y'all don't want to hear this. Because it shatters your theology. It takes you out of your comfortable zone that you think you're going to work your whole life, and we're going to put you in a casket and put you in the ground, and you're going to be up there in heaven. You see, that's a child's fable. Something you tell to a child to make them sleep at night. Tell them that the boogeyman in the sky sees everything that you do. That way they don't have to look over you when they're around. That's something that a master would tell you. Tell his slave, don't be messing up now. You know he watching. Ooh. And y'all bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. You should take some time to read the Enuma Elish. The Enuma Elish would be the inspiration for the Hebrew scribes who created a text now known as the biblical book of Genesis. Prior to the 19th century, the Bible was considered the oldest book in the world, and its narratives were thought to be completely original. In the mid-19th century, however, the European museums, as well as the academic and the religious institutions, they sponsored excavations in Mesopotamia. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Mesopotamia. You don't know the name of Mesopotamia today. You see, it was called Sumer. Then they called it Mesopotamia. Now they call it Iraq. The very hot spot where the United States and every other country has been bombing the shit out of and going in there looting and stealing. What do you think they're looking for? Why do you think they're still attacking the very place where it all began? Why do you think they don't care about those people that's there? Because those people are not the indigenous people. The indigenous people were removed long ago because those lands became inhabited by the Nephilim. The Nephilim took over that whole area and did amazing things. What do you think those white people are over there looking for? Oh, you still don't know what Iraq is. There's no such thing as the Middle East. It's Northern Africa. Now, let's talk a little bit about our friends, the Nephilim. You see, the Nephilim, they lived everywhere from Northern Africa all the way up to somewhere near, I would say, southern portions of Syria going into Asia. They controlled all of that. Any biblical story you read, there's the Canaans. They were filled with the land of giants. They weren't giants, they were Nephilim. And they inhabited all the way down to Egypt. So now if you understand where the Nephilim were, you'd understand why they built the pyramids. Where were we? On the other side, doing our thing. How many of you all know that the word Brazil is Hebrew for bronze workers, and that when white people first showed up on the continent, they found a bunch of people speaking what? Hebrew. 12 tribes. I'm trying to teach y'all something tonight about the Nephilim and who you are, because last night I posed a question that nobody wanted to talk about. And that is, if you don't believe any of this, then you have to ask yourself this question. If you don't believe in the Nephilim, then black people built the pyramids and we're super gods on this planet. But if we didn't, then you have to admit that there's a spiritual created being that birthed these abominations called the Nephilim, who wanted to ascend back into heaven and they couldn't. So they built the seat of God at the center of his creation, almost as an insult to him or as a beacon to say, this is our world. And somebody put an end to all that shit. And now we're left living in the aftermath with amnesia. And the very creatures that we were always warned about, the wild man from the north, now dominates this entire planet. And we're still walking around like we don't know what to do. They blowing our brains out on the streets of Africa. They shooting us in the back like we animals on the loose in America. Police brutality in Venezuela, Chile, Brazil. It's all the same people. But where they come from? And why are these people so violent against us? And where is this gap? Well, now it gets kind of funny, y'all, because when I was studying the Nephilim, I came across something that was very interesting. You see, in the Hebrew Bible, a group of mysterious beings is what they call them, usually large in size, but you find the Nephilim referenced in Genesis, in the book of Numbers, and even in the book of Ezekiel. The Hebrew word Nephilim is translated as giants or the fallen ones from giants. That's from the Hebrew word nephal, to fall. But the identity of who the Nephilim was is something they never want to teach you about. I wonder why. I mean, you can look at Numbers 13:32. It says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days. In Genesis 6:4, they say that. And then they're going to say, as the Israelites prepared to enter the land of Canaan. So they saw these gigantic people. They even brought back some of the stuff that they had and everything was huge, which leads me down to my next topic, genetic experimentation. Oh, we about to make some people mad now. Told y'all last night, and if you have the book, The Nephilim, The Pyramid and the Apocalypse, there's an actual chapter that you all can join me in. I'm not going to dive into it too deep, but this is why it pays to have the book. If you go to the chapter called The Space Odyssey, The Space Odyssey. And before I continue, real quick, if you haven't had the time, make sure you download a copy of the National Near Earth Object Preparedness Strategy and Action Plan that was published in June of 2018. This is available on the White House website. It is the U.S. plan in case a meteor comes flying in and wipes everything out. It also tells you the certain levels of destruction, what they're prepared to do about it, some ideas they had, but most importantly, on the very last page, they have the kiss your ass goodbye statement. This is published by the U.S. government. Since we have a meteor that's supposed to be coming in on November the 2nd, because now everybody's talking about it, get yourself a copy of this so you can gauge whether or not you need to try to get away, get underground, or to stand there and kiss your ass goodbye. You might not have to worry about who won the election. You ain't gonna have to worry about that. Y'all gonna be on your way to the voting polls, and there's gonna be a big flash in the sky, and there's gonna be some thunder and lightning, and you're gonna be like, ooh, what's that? And that's gonna be the last thing your ass say, and I'm gonna be like, it's kind of bright down here in Sheol, ain't it? I didn't know we all was gonna get here at the same time. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to tell y'all none of that. So please stay aware, stay alert, stay alive. Now, let's get back to where I was. So before I can go any further, I have to first make y'all understand why the Nephilim would be in this particular area and why there's a gap in your history. If you have a copy of the first book of Enoch, with Yahweh's name restored, somewhere around chapter 10, it talks about Azazel and his band. This was the first group that came down. Now remember, what the first group did was they also taught man a bunch of stuff. That even when they put Noah and his family inside of what you call the ark, which was not a ship at all as you think, we'll talk about that too, they took habits and knowledge with them. You see, it didn't make any sense. If you really think about this story, it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense for him to have an ark. Why? Why save anyone unless you're going to erase their minds? Because they brought the same stuff with them. Okay, let me give you some of the stuff that they did. So you think about it. Somewhere around chapter 10, verse 8, it says, and the whole earth has been corrupted by Azazel's teaching of his own actions, and right upon him all of the blame. And to Gabriel, Yahweh said, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates and against the children of adultery, and destroy the children of adultery, and expel the children of the watchers from among the people, and send them against one another so that they may be destroyed in the flight. For length of days they have not. And then Michael, Yahweh said, make known to Semyaza and the others who are with him, who fornicated with the women, that they will die together with them in all their defilement. And when they and all their children have battled with each other, and when they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, you bind them for 70 generations underneath the rocks of the ground, until the day of the judgment and of their consummation, until the eternal judgment is concluded. And in those days, they will lead them into the bottom of the fire and into the torment, into the prison, and they will be locked up there forever. Now, those people who encountered the Nephilim, those women who married the Nephilim, those people who were produced from the union were taught things that they never should have been taught at all. Because at the end of the day, you have to sometimes kill the crop to get some fresh fruit. But they brought these people with them through what I call the purge. And so therefore the Nephilim returned. They returned after the flood, and they flourished even more than they had before. Now you have to remember, the Nephilim predates the flood, which means this is the land and the time that they don't talk to y'all about. And now we get right back to this pyramid. And why the pyramid? Why the seat of God? Why? What was there that we had to have this area secured? What was going on from the tip of Africa all the way up to the northern tip, that no humans of our descendants of the 12 tribes could be anywhere near this? What was going on? You see, when someone doesn't want you to believe in something, they make it sound so incredible that your mind practices cognitive dissonance. You will immediately reject it, when the truth of the matter is you shouldn't. Because you always want to hear about the golden age of Egypt. You know the golden age of Egypt. The fourth dynasty of ancient Egypt is characterized as the golden age of the old kingdom of Egypt. That dynasty lasted for almost 2,000 years. It was a time of unheralded peace and prosperity in Egypt. Black folks at the height. They'll talk about that. Y'all can listen to that all day. But if I say, well, what about before that? Then everybody want to get quiet. You know why they want to get quiet? Because there's a name that keeps coming up that we're going to cover in the second half. Y'all come back and join me. I'll be back for the other half of the pyramid, the apocalypse, pyramid, the Nephilim, and the apocalypse. I'm going to take my break. I'll be right back. We ain't done yet. Oh, it's not late. We're going to be up a while. Holla back at your boy.